Hi guys, it's EG's here. So today I'm here with another Deathster deck profile, and this time what we're covering is the new Vanguard right line, which is a Avantgarda. So this is the robot right line that we actually have, and the right line is actually very interesting when I see the crystal, which reminds me of another anime. And he is actually needed for your Avantgarda to actually work, so I just jump into it. But do note that this build is not what we call a optimal build, so I'm not using cards like the Operate Master Freiheits because I share a Brand set or a split of DBT09 with a friend, and he's playing CO, so he's definitely grabbing that card, and I'm playing the deck without it, so that's something in the notes. And I'm also not using this promo card, which I only have one copy of because I only bought one of the book that gives this promo, which I think even put in one to show you guys isn't going to change much, so I think it's better to use another aspect to try to use cards that is mainly from the set with a little bit extra, trying to make it kind of budget, and then hopefully it's more affordable while still allowing you to play in that way. Yeah, so another card that I am not using is Compound Russia, because it's a very good staple with decks using set orders, and because I didn't bought any like keep buying Brand cards, so those been to my friend's hand because he always get the Brand split, and this one is like I bought it outside when I feel a right line that I want to play, then I get those cards, so I don't have every key pieces. So that is something that if you are looking for a budget build, which I should be putting on my description, then you can definitely check this out. Yeah, so let's continue with the right deck. So we get the Great Zero Paradox, but we don't have the Great One. Not using the Great One, actually, not say I don't have one because I actually do. This is the normal Great One that you will be using for this team, but this time I'm not using, because this one, when you write the grade 2 on top, you can search for the grade 1 order, but it's one turn late, and a friend of mine using this deck actually using this grade 1, and there are a few times that the grade 1 order actually get hit to damage, so instead of this we are using the Office grade 1, so that you can actually search yourself a world order, which I can just show you right now, which I will be showing back when I talk about the orders, will be the Eclipsed Moon Knight, so that I can get a token, Shadow Army token, that is a big body as an attacker, as a booster. It usually, unless facing a retiring heavy deck, usually it stays on the field and at least become a threat. So that's why I'm using this instead, and then go back to grade 2, and then grade 3, when right on top of grade 2 you actually get to search for a grade 2 operation order. If not, you can call this out. Usually you should be able to search one. If you're not, at least you get another unit out, right? Yeah, so these ones don't have much to say, but let's also talk about our key, which is the blue Deathster Skyrender Avantgarda. So he got a few skill, so let's try to zoom in for a bit. Okay, so a active skill, well actually one skill but extend to another one, so once per turn, active skill, if you have the grade 0, a starter there in your zone, and you put one of your operation order from auto zone to soul, draw one card, this unit will get plus 5k, and then you get another skill, which is auto skill 1 once per turn. When the attack battle ends of this card, you hit the Vanguard, or if this turn you have personal right, you can counterblast 1, discard 1 card status unit, and -1 drive. So you your first time usually you won't be able to simply restand unless you hit, but once you're starting the personal right, you will get to do that for the turn. So it's very important for you to do personal right, but since I'm trying to make it budget, so I'm not using the Regalia, the Regulus, or something like that, the grade 3 order that allows you to grade 2 or grade 3 order that allows you to personal right. So if you are having the budget to actually use that card, feel free to chuck that in. And also for cards like the promo, Compound Rusher, Fry Heights, there's a lot of things that you can actually use to make sure you can get all your grade 3 pieces. Then you can do your personal right a lot easier. Then you don't need to worry about one hit. But even if you can't personal right, I don't think that is a big deal, because with this card you gain so much attack power, and your opponents will need to think about how to guard with these attack already. Of course, if you can do personal right, you don't need to worry about your part, you just need to swing them so much times until they're gone. But if you are not personal right, then what you are applying the pressure to your opponent is, if you let me hit, you will get in trouble, so you have to give me something, right? So that's another kind of mind games you can play with your opponent, and usually those will work. And if you are going first, usually it's quite easy to hit, or at least you can simply bait out a PG while your opponents don't have a lot of cards in their hand. So this is still a good strategy to utilize the on-hit part of this card. Right. Next, I am running, of course, 3 more Avantgarda so that we can keep our personal right going. More souls, more power. That's all we can tell about that. Nothing much. And then 4 of the Erholton Fogel. I think that's how it's called. So it gets skill like auto when this is placed in the Riga circle, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, search attack or drop zone for up to 1 grade reset order. So it's only grade reset order. Review it and put it to your hand. If you search, shuffle your deck. So because if you go check the right line, the grade 1 by right, grade 2 on top, you get to search a grade 1, and then 2 right by 3, you get to search 2. There's no way to search 3, but this card helps you out. So and the grade 3 operation order is actually quite important in this deck, so especially when you are restanding. So having a chance to actually get this is very important. And then because it soul blasts you cards, so that you can actually soul blast the operation orders that you put into soul, and there are ways to just reuse it. For example, using this card again to pick the card that you soul blast, right? That's one thing you can do. It also has got another skill, auto Riga circle once per turn. When a set order is put into your order zone, this unit will get plus 5k for the turn. It's 18k, big enough to apply threat to basically a lot of stuff, and then you just need to apply some good boost to make it good, or just personal right to make it at least 28. This is already scary. And then this is a card also from the set, Enlightened Age Dragon. So this is a card that when you are not using cards like Compound Rusher, Fright Heights, Promo, this is something that you can try to use as is inside the set, so you don't need to pay extra to find cards to use for a budget build if you're going for a split. But of course, if you are actually going for the split that includes the Fright Heights, then you probably can just simply use Fright Heights instead. But if you're just getting singles, or for some reason you're only getting sets that relating to Avantgarda, then you might not be able to get your Freiheits, then this is one of your options that you can look for it as a cheaper option. So what it does is a once per turn regard circle active skill. If you personalize this turn, so +1 and discard a card from your hand, this guy will get +5k. Choose a set order from your drop, put it into your hand, and then choose a set order from your drop with a different name from the card, put it into your hand with this effect, and put it into your hand. Yeah, so you're not only getting a power boost, you get to select a set order, add to your hand, right? So that is already big, and you also can get another name of the set order back to your hand as well. So if you have already like 2 operation order, you can get both back to your hand, which helps you a lot because you can just play one, maybe use another one for PG, and then or maybe get ready for the next turn, right? And again, this card Soul Blast something out, so you can Soul Blast the operation orders that you set in there, so you can reuse again. But Soul Blast 1 and discarded card is actually quite high of a cost, so it's a budget option again. If you have Freiheits, definitely use Freiheits, because even Freiheits discard a card as well, but it gets you personalized, which is quite different. Which allow it's actually counterblast when you discard 1 card for Freiheits. So it didn't help you with the soul, but you have this to help you with the soul. And instead of waiting for 2 orders and get them back, getting a person right is way easier. Believe me. But it's really, to me, I think I just want to try this deck out, so I don't want to invest too much, especially when I can just borrow my friend's deck to test it out if I want the full potential. But I just want to see if I go for a budget build how far I can go. Then I think this is something that we can look for. And then to countercharge, we have our Purple Mind, of course. For English, it will get reprinted, I believe. That's not happening in the JP side, but I think English side do have announced that it will be reprinted. So I believe I'm still right. I hope it's still right. So it should be easier to get, depending on the ratio, or at least the price should drop a little bit. So it will be a little bit more affordable with Purple Mind. If not, maybe you need to count on the other monster from previous set that when boost on hit you can countercharge 1. You might need to rely on that. So it's up to you which one you can afford. Because I get mine quite cheap, I just pull 2 of them for the JP version and pull 2 of the Chinese version. I just use them for fun play, so I actually didn't like pay high price for them. But if they are too high price for you to get for whatever language your area belongs to, you can definitely find another options that I did mention. If you do want to know that name, do comment down below, let me know, I will search it for you. And then the Dragon Tree Wretch Royal Arcusaurus. So this is the Dragon Tree card for Brandgate, and what it does is, as long as you appears on okay, let me just turn this on easier. When this unit is placed on Regard Circle, cost counter +1, of course you can get a Dragon Tree marker, which is not important in this deck. And then the second skill is once per turn, when a set order you play from hand is put into the order zone, you can counter +1 on the top 5 cards, choose 1 unit card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them, call it to the Regard Circle in the same corner as this unit, and shuffle your deck. So it basically tries to build your board when you keep playing set orders, because you do need to play different set orders every single turn, like your operations, so you can put them in, your work order, so you can generate the token, and this will try to bring you another unit. And depends on what you call, things will be different. For my friend, he's sometimes unlucky that whenever he calls, it's always this card itself. But that is something that can happen, or sometimes you can get yourself a combo rusher if you're using those. But you get to look at top 5 and choose one, so it's not just look at top 1 and call for a random luck. You at least get 5 cards to look at, and usually with this ratio you should be able to call something that is useful. But do remember, this is gonna blast, this is gonna blast, this is gonna blast. So, and also the Eclipse Moonlight, you also using color blast, so color blast will be quite heavy, which is why I'm using Bubble Mine to not only build up the soul that I will also be using a lot, but at the same time trying to counter charge as much as I can. And then 3 PGs and one of the promo PG. If you are completely looking for budget, because this, I think if you did get those starters, you will be getting one, so it's not that expensive. But if you are really don't have any of the starters, you can just use 4 of the normal PG, no big deal. Okay, let's also talk about other cards, order cards. So first, Eclipse Moonlight, showed it before, generate you the Shadow Army token. That's what it does. And then Shock Strategy, Death Winds. So this is the operation strategy order that is grade 3 that you can search with grade 3 support. And what it does is, if you put this card from order zone to your soul, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, choose your Vanguard, and for the turn it gets the skill that whenever this card attacks during the turn, all your front units will get plus 5k. So if you withstand it, you get to do it 2 times, which is basically a front trigger that covers a lot of power difference, which I think is quite important. And it's a more easier to use strategy order, I would say, because if you look at the grade 2 one, which is bombing strategy dusting, it's a kind of a stronger effect that also put from order zone to your soul. You choose your Vanguard plus 10k, your opponent cannot intercept for the turn, and cannot play Blitz order for the turn. So it basically blocked this, but it's only pumping your Vanguard. Your Vanguard is already plusing 5, and you plus 10 to make it plus 15, but your side will be weak. But with this one, your Vanguard will get plus 5, you will then plus front row for plus 5, so your Vanguard will get plus 10k, your front row will at least get plus 5k. Usually when these stuff without any person riding, you at least be able to hit something still. So I think this one is a lot more important, and you can search through this. So that's why I'm using this lineup. So far, I see the grade 3 order being more important, which is why I'm doing this setup. Some people like to use the bombing strategy a lot more, so they might use it more. It's up to you, but I think this is okay. Okay, now triggers. Renegade OT, things that can flip the table around just by pulling it. That's why we love it all. Sewing crit, if you are looking for a more budget option, you can just use the normal crit. I don't see much of a difference. Formal crit, free draws, they are not the 10k draw. If you do have the 10k draws, use them, and then for normal heals, just making things simple. So it's a crit base, and we get the bravery strategy, shock strategy, so we can kind of get in the front effect. So what I'm going for is something that always apply fresh to my opponent, that if you let me hit, I have 8 crits waiting me. If you don't let me hit, those crits will still be going to something else that can still bait your shield. And if I personalize, then all your worries will just be a lot more of a problem, because I will restand anyway, and I can choose where I want to put. And as long as I pull that Renegade OT, that's the end of you. Yeah, so that's basically it. Usually you just need to place the dragon tree to your sides, and they will help you to generate the units that you need for. And as long as you can do at least 3 attacks per turn, that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, but do note that this is something that you need to set during your grade 2 turn. So don't go too aggressive during your grade 1 turn, because if you play too much regards and your opponents know you get the world order to your hand, then what they do is they will just wipe your regards instead of giving you the damage. So you need to show them, I have this, now you make a choice. Do you want to give me the damage so that I can definitely use this order next turn, or you are letting me to survive for a turn where I don't take any damage? It will still benefit me, because which means I have more stocks to take damage later game, and you will still be in trouble, right? So you at least get to play a lot of mind games with your opponent with this deck. But this deck is overall very straightforward. Instead of like CEO that you need to do a lot of combos, you need to like think about operating this, operating that, how many times I need to operate. There's a lot of mind games within yourself, your side to consider. But with this deck, it's so straightforward. It's just that I play normally, I play in order, everything is on the paper, I just swing. You make your choice. I don't care. I just swing. You make your choice. It's just so straightforward, which to I think a lot of new players is a very good choice to start with, because the deck is so straightforward that both sides know what is going on, and you don't need to worry about too much on your side, but at the same time you can make your opponents to think a lot. And while this happens, usually even a new player using this deck, if you can actually get more better upgrades, you will be able to actually win a lot, I think. This deck had this potential, if you ask me, but of course if you're running out of gas, sometimes it happens, then it will be a problem as well. Yeah, so I think that's all I need to talk about this deck for today. If you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, feel free to comment down below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxings, and like collection stuff. Sometimes I do that. Yeah, I think that's all I need to say. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.